What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm and Farming Simulator 15. So if you remember from the last episode, we were in the process of selling our grain. We had sold all the wheat down to DeKalb, and now we're selling the barley. You may have noticed that the telehandler with the bucket is down here, and the conveyor is over there hooked up to the case. That's for one simple reason. I didn't have quite as much barley as I had wheat. So the conveyor didn't fit far enough in to actually be able to grab the barley, so we'll have to do it the more traditional way, which is fine. Also, got a call from Ian Blake yesterday. He'd heard about my potato harvest, how good it was, and asked if he could buy 65 tons of potatoes. So at some point in the next couple days, he'll be down with the old Ford to pick up 65 tons of potatoes, which I sold to him at a decent rate. I also had a talk with the major. I took a little break in between the wheat while I was over to DeKalb talking to those guys. Gave the major a call and asked him if I could borrow his New Holland forage harvester to chop my corn in one field of alfalfa. He said I could certainly do that. I'm going to give him like $1,000, you know, for using it and for the fuel and everything. So he'll bring down the forage harvester and the corn head and his direct drive head, his like grass head, you know. So we'll be able to get that done. That'll be still a couple days away. In this episode, I want to sell all this barley. I want to muck out the animals, and then I want to check my corn and see if it needs anything. And I'm still kind of racing this rain. You can see, you know, it's still pretty clear here. The sun's still coming up in Old Ridge, but not the rain so much, but the hail or the sleet or whatever it's going to be. But I want to get this done before that starts. So I don't mind mucking out animals in the precipitation, but I don't want to be moving grain in it. So let's go ahead and get started with this and get this barley sold off. Yeah, I would much rather use the conveyor for this. Not that I mind using the telehandler. Certainly, you know, I have the telehandler. I might as well use it. But you know, it is a little quicker to do it with the conveyor. But it just didn't work. It didn't go in far enough. You know, there's a little bit of clip on these buildings, obviously, and it just didn't go in far enough for me to be able to get to the grain. So, okay, we'll do it this way, I guess. I did go around this morning and feed my sheep and give them water because they were out of food and water. So I wanted to make sure I fed them. I've got a couple of UHT milk containers that need to be moved, which is always fun. It'd be nice if somebody came up with some sort of, like, you know, collector for those. That would be cool, you know, so that you don't have to really mess with them quite so much. There might be, I don't know. I haven't looked, but I'd love to be able to do this in the cab. Whoops, but you know, my sort of loading skills in the cab are not ideal. So, but you know what? Let's try it. Let's give it a shot and see if I actually get any of the grain in the trailer. You know, this is such a nice piece of equipment that I really like to use it as much as I can. So, and of course, what is the first thing I do? Get stuck on the doors, right? The bucket on the telehandler holds 4,500. Yeah, you know what? That's just going to take too long because I'm going to be fiddling around with it. Just easier to do it this way. No need this has to take an hour to do this. But like I was saying, the bucket on this holds 4,500, where the bucket on my front loaders for my tractors only hold 1,860. So this will be a little bit quicker anyway. I could have probably parked this tractor and this tipper in a better spot. It's a little tricky to move around. Luckily, the telehandler has, you know, pretty good maneuverability, as you would expect. So, I don't know how many trips this is going to be. I don't remember how much barley I actually have. I actually can find out if I was smart. It's like, oh, look, Wednesday, it's going to rain. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We definitely need it. So, oh, it's only 29,000 liters left, so it isn't going to be that much. Very good. So this shouldn't take too long, and then we'll take this down to the pig and beef with the Dizor and muck those out. That's going to be a few trips because there's a lot of muck down there. Haven't done it in a while, you know. So, been busy with other stuff. Obviously, harvest is, you know, pretty much done now, except for the chopping, which will be coming up in probably a week or so, I guess. So, I'm so tempted to chop all this alfalfa just for the simple reason that it'll get it off the map. It'll cut down on the lag, but if it's anything like the last alfalfa harvest I did, I ended up with almost 3 pits full of silage, and I don't have 3 pits anymore. I only have the 1, so I don't have any place to put it. And as you guys remember, one of the very first things I did, here was take down the extra silage pits, take down the sort of feed storage yard, because I just wasn't using it. So, although now that my herd is, my dairy herd is really expanding quickly, I'm starting to sort of rethink that plan. But you know what? I can live without it. I could always get some sort of feed storage, I suppose, if I really wanted to. But I kind of like doing it the way I do it. So. Good to get this grain sold off, make some money. Definitely need the money, loan payments to make and stuff, so. I'm also going to pick up a new mixed wagon, new not forage wagon, but mixed feed wagon that I can put potatoes in, and not potatoes, but sugar beets in. To sort of increase the sucrose level, that I'm feeding my cows to kind of make the milk a little better. So after having a nice talk with a gentleman who's sort of an agricultural consultant, in contracting business, he was telling me, ways I could sort of maximize my dairy yield and everything. So, and as everybody knows, in this sort of tough economic times with milk prices and everything, anything you can do to make your, operation more efficient is certainly appreciated. So I certainly appreciate the tips and the suggestions from that. This should be the last bucket for this load, and then it'll be a little bit left for the next load. So I don't want to leave any grain in here. I want to get it all sold off, get it all down to DeKalb. Then I'll muck out the animals, and I'll let Ian come and take his 65 tons of potatoes before I sell anything. Just to make sure I don't oversell and, don't have 65 tons, so. And that is full. All right, let me just get this out of the way now. Put that right there. Shut that off. I'll leave the beacon on, I guess. Just so people know it's, there's a piece of equipment there, so. All right, and off to the cob we go. Probably should put the cover on, I guess. It's already been a pretty busy day here in Old Ridge, and it's only 7 o'clock in the morning. It's going to get busier as the day goes on. I have a lot of stuff I want to get accomplished today. I definitely, obviously, going to sell off the rest of this barley. I was going to sell the potatoes, but then Ian called me and said, hey, can I get, 65 tons? Absolutely, I do a little bit of business with Ian once in a while, so, as you guys remember, he bought the Ford TW10 from me. It's funny because he doesn't seem to have any problems. He's a little ways away from here, but he doesn't seem to have any problems driving it on the road, Whereas I was having, not so much problems, but I was sort of getting the indication that they were going to start giving me problems if I kept driving it, so, he'll come down, pick up his potatoes, probably be 2 trips, because obviously the Ford is not going to be able to pull a massive tipper, so bring him up to this place, dump him, come back, get another load, and then pay me, and then we'll be on with that, so. It's been busy in real life, too, you guys will, by the time you actually see this episode, you will have seen quite a few other episodes, between Court Farm and this. I've just been making farm sim videos like crazy lately. I guess it's just because it's so much fun. Like I said in previous episodes, it's sort of a cycle, where you go through stuff that's maybe less fun, and then you get to the point where everything is fun again. And you just want to keep playing all the time. So, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Obviously I enjoy it regardless. I enjoy the process of virtual farming, and everything that goes along with that. So, and it's all about the way you want to play the game. If you soil mod and all these animals and all that stuff really make it, very realistic in the sense that you have a lot of stuff to maintain on a daily basis. you know, and you don't certainly have to play that way, but I like to play that way. So, you know, I'm into that cycle now where I'm sort of in between harvest and, you know, planting and all that. So it's winter, quote unquote. So it's a lot of fun. You have to excuse me if I'm a little snuffly this morning. The weather, again, you know, got up, you know, not too late this morning. You can see by the real-time mod, it's a little after 12 o'clock here in the real world. You know, got up, you know, I stayed up pretty late last night. I was doing some stuff, watching some movies, and doing stuff I don't normally do. So I stayed up a little late. But when I woke up this morning, you know, I went outside, and it was, you know, 40 degrees, you know. And, of course, my sinuses were like, wait a minute, it was 20 yesterday, it's 40 today. But you know what? Again, as I say all the time, you know, I'll take it as long as it's not snowing. And kind of the funny thing is that, you know, I went on Facebook this morning to post, you know, the notification for the latest video that I put up. And one of the memories you know, Facebook has this memory thing now, where it reminds you of stuff that you've posted in the past. And one of the memories today was that, you know, at this time last year, I was shoveling, you know, about 11 feet of snow. So I was like, you know what? I can live with a little sinus if it means I don't have to shovel snow. No snow here in Old Ridge yet. Too early for that anyway. You know, it's not quite winter here yet. So now, go around this way. I need to pick up those eggs too. And thanks for the person who reminded me to sell my eggs. I know I always forget. I'll have 200, 300, 400 eggs in the backpack, you know, and I'll forget to sell them. So, and that's just a lot of money sitting there, you know. It's a lot of money. Eggs are money. So I may buy more chickens at some point. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I probably will buy more. I need to get an idea of how much money I'm actually going to have here once all this stuff is sold. So it'll probably be helpful if I started this now. It's a fairly enjoyable process. You know, again, I really want to get a joystick. You know, there's obviously reasons why I don't go out and buy this stuff. You know, could I go buy a, you know, $10 joystick somewhere? Sure, absolutely. You know, but there's priorities obviously in my life. You know, I'm really working towards building a new computer. So I don't want to buy a bunch of peripherals, you know, when I could be spending that money on a computer. You know. Plus, as you know, you guys know, and I've said a million times, you know, my finances are not fantastic, so I do the best I can with what I've got, you know. Right now, the $4 mouse works to run the loader, so it's not the most precise thing in the world, certainly, but it works. I wouldn't mind having a whole setup with a wheel and a joystick, just so I could, you know, drive the tractors like they're driven in real life. You know, with a wheel and a joystick. So I think that would be pretty neat. It is nice to use this JCB more often now. You know, when I first bought it, I wasn't using it very often. And it's an expensive piece of equipment, which I'm still paying for, obviously, as I'm paying for pretty much everything on the farm still. And it's nice to be able to use it, so it's definitely handy. I'm glad I bought it. You know, did I necessarily need it? You know, because I have, you know, a couple of tractors that have front loader brackets on them. I didn't necessarily need it, but to be honest, it's a little easier to do loader work with a telehandler, where you could boom out, you know, where they're more maneuverable and everything. So it was worth the extra money for me, I think. Especially when I took down the silo, you know, and I don't just have a big discharge pipe anymore, where now I have to get into sheds and all that. I'm really glad I took down that silo. I think the sheds are more sort of in line with the heritage of the area, you know. I think it looks better. Not quite so much of an eyesore, this giant, you know, galvanized steel tubes sticking up into the sky, so. There's going to be a little tiny bit left. Okay. Very good. The barley yield, you know, obviously only had the one field of barley, so, you know, the yield was decent for one field. But I will probably put quite a bit more barley in the ground this year. I'll probably go to barley more than wheat. I need the straw, obviously, so I have to have some sort of grain. But barley is a little bit more popular around here. All the wheat I sell tends to get exported. DeKalb tends to process it and then, load it up into containers, and then, it gets exported off. So where the barley tends to stay local. I like to support the local community as much as I can, the local economy. At the very least, the British economy. So, although I'll be honest, I'm a little too American to be too fussy about where my money comes from, but just so long as it comes. All right, and that is all of the barley. Very good. Let me just make absolutely certain that's all of the barley. Yep, it is. Very good. 107 tons of potatoes yet. So, and like I said, Ian will take 65 of those, so that'll just leave, a little over 40 tons to bring off to whoever wants them. I got to call around and see where the potatoes are going to go. Almost another full load, 83%, not too shabby. Now let's just park this up. Health and safety, make sure you put the bucket on the ground. Turn that off. We can turn that off now. We need that. I will be taking this down to the dairy meadow, obviously. So, well, not the dairy meadow, but the pig and beef. I mean, I don't know why I said dairy meadow. Must have been thinking about something at the dairy, over the dairy area there. Oh, the UHT milk containers, which I need to move. But, the UHT milk thing is good and the money's right, but, man, it's not the easiest thing in the world to move around. So it'd be cool if there was some sort of auto loader for those where you could, I mean, obviously I could auto load them right on a trailer, and do it that way. But you don't want to leave stuff auto loaded on a trailer, when you get out of the game. And sometimes when you unload to the trailer, the stuff just jumps all over the place. So Phil is actually up at Court Farm this morning. He was raking and baling that meadow that was behind that field 4 there that we were cutting with the canola on it the other day. And I talked to him a little while ago, and he said he got a ton of bales off that field. So I'm thinking I might try to talk to Thomas and see if if he can make a deal with this farmer where I can get maybe one trailer load of grass bales off of that field. I could certainly use them, and I'll just I'll bring my trailer up and pick them up and haul them back down here. So have to find an alternate route because I don't know that I can haul a trailer load of bales on the motorway, but that's fine. Might take a little longer to get here, but not a big deal. All right, so here's the last of the barley for 2015. We can get sort of an idea of how much money we're going to have. It's going to be 90 grand, just about 90 grand, maybe a little more. 95? 95. Okay, well, you know what? That'll do. Like I said, I think I got to pay the bank about $30,000, or maybe 27. Again, I won't know until and then of course I'll have animals to sell, and I'll still have apples and pears to pick and everything. So those will be ready in a couple of days. So I guess what I could do is I'll go park up the Stewart here because I won't be needing that again. And we'll grab the Dezor and go down with the telehandler in this to the pig and beef facility and get those guys mucked out. That'll be a couple of trips running back and forth to the dairy meadow, to the dairy farm. I mean, I keep saying meadow. It's not a meadow. It's a farm. There is no dairy meadow anymore. Coffee. A YouTuber and a virtual farmer's best friend. Especially when the first thing you do when you roll out of bed in the morning is be like, oh, gonna go make videos. You know what? Let's grab these eggs before I forget again. Let's grab the eggs. because I will absolutely forget. There we go. That's handled. That's so much easier than having to chase him around, huh? I'm so glad that that's a thing now. You know, I mean, the chicken coop is nice. Don't get me wrong. You know, and I certainly would have used it if that script wasn't available. But that, you know, sort of collect all the eggs in one place script is just awesome. And I'm glad it was built into the map. See, the case is over there with the spray setup on it. Still with the row crops on it. I just took the duals off because I don't need those to spray, obviously. We're going to get to that at some point as well. All right, now, this is always a little tricky trying to back in here, but I think we can handle it. And not smash into the Unimog. I will say I may be thinking about picking up a new truck. That Unimog's got a lot of miles on it, you know, and it's been around for a long time. And driving back and forth to court, you know, which isn't a long drive, but, you know, being on the motorway and, you know, moving along at that thing's top speed, which is really only about 50 miles an hour because of the way it's geared. You know, it could be more comfortable, certainly. Do not smash into the building. Where is the Dazor? Is the Dazor not over here somewhere? It is. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I washed it. So I washed it to get all the potato dust and whatnot out of it. Now I'm going to go fill it up with manure. Awesome. This is a handy thing for this. It's a good utility tipper, you know. Obviously, I won't put grain in it, but everything else can pretty much go in it, so... All right, now we'll just get Perry to. Perry, why don't you take this, and I will take the telehandler. So you can just hang out there for a minute. Get the beacons on. The only tricky bit with this is making sure he doesn't smash into the gate while when he's following me, so. There we go. Where you going, Perry? Could I get in the telehandler? Where you going? Oh, I'm too far away. I'm too close, and he's trying to get my trail. Okay. That's all right, Perry. Just do what you want. Just, you know, drive around in circles. It's fine. Are you gonna follow me now? Yes, you are. Good job. Make sure I give you enough room to swing that trailer around the gate. Jump in the cab. Very good. All right. Did I really want to go this way? Not really, but whatever, right? Whatever makes the trip longer, I guess. Don't want to drive too fast. The police have been out a little bit in force the last couple days. I don't know why. You know, I know that, you know, they're starting to look at, you know, the way we drive on the roads and everything, and that's fine, and they should, you know. And I don't drive like an idiot anyway, so. My equipment is too expensive for me to, you know, take the chance on busting it up. So, you know, not that anybody can take that chance, obviously. Plus, with the way this thing steers on the road, you know, if you get going too fast, it'll start to wander around a little bit. So it's not meant for that. You know, it's not meant to go 50 miles an hour, even though it is a JCB. You know, and everybody knows JCBs are famous for their, you know, their speed. So. I'm actually starting to get a little nervous about this test. this HGV test coming up. I hope the hell I pass. I need to pass. I need that license. Because that truck's just sitting there, doing nothing. And I could have used that to haul grain. I could use that to haul potatoes. I could use that to do all kinds of things, that I just can't do right now. And I need that license. My regular sort of driving license, and my tractor, driving license and all that, that's fine. But I bought that truck, and again, it didn't cost a ton of money because it is old, and it's used and everything. But I still want to be able to use it. Otherwise, it's just sitting there costing me money. So, now I don't think I'm going to make him try to swing down this trail here, just because he'll probably get stuck. So I think I'll just go around the long way. Why not? 25 minutes already in this video. It'll probably be another 20 minutes by the time we, unload everything and get all the manure out of the sheds and whatnot. The collection point is quiet again for another year. It's funny because that pretty much sits there, until it's sugar beet time. But then when it is sugar beet time, man, it's a hive of activity. You can't get down there. It's tough to come down this road because there's so many trucks, and lorry, big lorries coming down the road, just clogging everything up. So, but then the rest of the time, there's really only somebody down there. I think somebody comes down 3 or 4 times a week just to check it out, kind of walk around, make sure nobody's messing with it or anything, make sure the office is locked and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I think the trees will be ready pretty soon. It's looking like they're ripening up nice, so that's good. So we'll be picking those before too much longer. Might as well start with the beef, I guess, because we're right here. So. Now, where do I want to leave him? That's the question. Do I leave him right here, or do I... No, you know what would make more sense, I think? Let's bring him back around the other side. That way I can just drive straight through the sheds. Don't smash in all my Ross boxes over there, Perry. So yeah, Phil will be up at court pretty much all day today. I'm going to go up probably around noonish, just to make sure everything's going okay and everything. And maybe cut another one of these massive meadows. Because apparently everything needs to be cut, so... Let me take over for you for a second. And get you in a logical spot here. Right about there, I guess. You won't be too much in the way. Very good. Jump out. Back into this. And we'll go muck out some animals. I'll take all the muck I can get. I have no issues with, an abundance of muck, so... Put it on those fields. That's the key. Wow, that took no time at all to get a load, huh? Very good, very good. Like I said, it'll probably be a lot of trips back and forth. I don't know how much of this I'll actually do on screen, just because, you guys, again, we're getting to the point now where you guys have seen me do pretty much everything on the farm. But, I guess, like I said, like I always say, actually, I will keep doing this until you guys don't want to see it anymore. Then I will keep playing, but I just won't record, And you guys can always let me know when you're like, all right, BP, it's starting to get a little boring now or whatever, But again, this is farming, I guess if it's sort of, the way I look at this video series now is, obviously it's a story, as Mike calls it, it's a soap opera, and it very much is, especially when the Crawford Browns are all fired up, they've been quiet for too long, and I would certainly imagine that we're going to be hearing from them before too much longer. Mrs. Crawford Brown, especially when she settles up this divorce and everything, will probably just be on a rampage. Would not surprise me one bit. Oh. If I could see what I was doing, that would be awesome. No, I don't want to put it back in the ground. I want to pick it up. Thank you. There's a little bit more up here. go. That's a load. I'll just check the HUD and see how much is actually left in here. That's 9,000 liters. I think there was 11 in each one, so leaving a couple in there is not too off. Don't want to leave them filthy, obviously, because, well, two things happen. One is it's not good for them. You know, they step in it and they can get infections in their hooves and everything, and those infections can spread up their legs, and you know, you can actually start getting you know, skin, you know, flesh viruses that'll eat away the hide and everything. You know, then they'll get all sores and they'll just continually get sick, and then you can't sell them. You know. Plus, it's, you know, it's just inhumane anyway. And secondly, it stinks. You know, luckily I am pretty far away from, you know, from any sort of housing over here, so I don't really have to worry too much about that. I know there's been people, you know, who have, you know, dairy facilities and whatnot, and you know, beef cattle facilities that have been a little closer to houses and stuff lately, and they've been really cracking down on sort of the smell. You know, these sheds do have a sort of a smell or an odor elimination system in them, you know, where they run where the fans sort of recycle the air and all that, you know. But my dairy meadow doesn't have that. I keep saying dairy meadow. It's not a dairy meadow, BP. My dairy shed doesn't have that, just because it's old, you know. I may be looking to build a new dairy shed at some point. I would like to have a shed where the cows could actually stay in for the winter. I put them in now when it gets really, really cold in the winter, you know, because basically all I do is I tarp off the ends, you know, and then get a couple of heaters in there to keep it warm for them, you know. But I'd like to be able to, you know, shed them for the entire winter. That way it just keeps them from getting viruses and getting, you know, worn out from the cold and everything. Anything you can do to make a cow's life easier, I think, is better. So, all right, you know what? We will do this. We will jump back in here for a minute, lower this down, and we'll just drive through to the other one, I guess. I have 28 beef cattle in each shed that need to be sold, so, you know, good amount. Should be a little bit of money. Beef prices are, you know, fluctuate. They fluctuate a little bit, but they're not awful. Certainly not as bad as dairy. You know, I suppose if I was just, you know, looking to make money, I would get out of the dairy, you know, and then just do beef cattle, because beef prices are a little higher than, you know, dairy prices, obviously. But I don't know, I enjoy being a dairy farmer, and I don't want to stop doing it, so. Oh, this is a little inefficient, huh? Should have just brought the trailer over here, but, can't be bothered to move it. I know I got a lot of slurry over here, which is good, because obviously, you know, I'll be slurrying meadows and whatnot, so. You know, the weather here, again, it's been, you know, you expect it to start being a little chilly now. You know, as far as Old Ridge, it's not, you know, it's still autumn. It's not winter yet, you know, and it won't be winter for a little while yet. And the grass is actually growing again, so I may, if I'm very lucky, get another cut on my meadows. You know, and then take a load of bales down from Court Farm and have plenty of hay, or grass in this case, to get me through the winter. Yeah, that's going to be pretty close to a full load, just from these two. So, very good, very good. So probably what I'll do, 34 minutes. Do I want to make this really long and go do the pigs too, or do I mean, I could make it shorter if I had to just move the trailer, right, instead of driving around through the sheds at a ridiculous speed too, I should point out. Ugh. Wait for the doors to open, BP. Or, to get back to my original thought, or do I just say, okay, well, we've done that, I'll go do the pigs off screen. No, you know what? To hell with it. Let's finish this. Let's finish something, right? I said I was going to muck out the animals, so let's muck out the animals. We at least sold the barley, so that's a plus. You know what? If I was smart, I would go this way, right? It doesn't make any difference. It's the same sort of distance from one side to the other, but I've got a couple calves in there. We're going to be ready to go pretty soon. Up to 100 dairy cows. At some point, I'll have to stop using those because I don't want to. I mean, yes, would I love to have 500 dairy cows? I absolutely would, but at the moment, I can't support that many cows, so my dairy won't support that. You know, my operation. So at some point, I'm going to have to stop with the calves and go back to selling them again. I could have set courseplay up to take this and dump, huh? If I'd have been smart. Is that not going in there? Where's it going? Let's just waste it. That'll be fine. That's full. Okay. Off. Back to the dairy we go with that to dump that. I may need to get a bigger tipper. And yes, I know I could have just, you know, put this in a pile over here on one of these in one of these bunks, but I don't know. I like having it all in one place, so, and not having to move it too much is, you know, because moving it a whole bunch of times is a little bit of a pain in the butt. So I'd like to go back. Am I going to be able to swing this around? Ooh, maybe just. Luckily, this cloth turns very well, so. Yep, very good. Make sure we have some beacons on. This little path right here will definitely bottom out the cab suspension and the seat suspension. You can hear it, you know, bouncing off the bushings and stuff. Gotta be easy over this. I don't want to break anything in this. Ugh. Then you drop a wheel off the path, and it's a little soft on either side of this now, so. At some point, we're going to have to get together. The farmers in this, you know, general area here are going to have to get together and start petitioning this council to let us use this grass again. It's ridiculous. The grass is just sitting there. It's not, you know, it's not doing anything. It's not helping anybody. You know, it's not like they made it into parks. You know, and they're putting up swing sets and you know, and you know, forts and stuff for kids to climb around on. They're not, you know, renting it out to you know, allotments. They're not doing anything with it. It's just sitting there, and it's stupid. So Mike, if you're watching this video, and of course I'll call you, you know, I'll call you and fill you in, but if you're watching this video, let's do that. Can we, over the winter, get maybe me, you, Cuthbert, the Major, Sean, you know, JD Vlogger, you know, maybe even Ian, even though he's not in this general area, but, you know, I think the more people we can get together and maybe petition this council to let us use at least a couple of these meadows, you know, it would really alleviate a lot of our grass problems. I know Mike doesn't have so much of a grass problem because, you know, he sort of, as soon as, you know, the council said, well, you can't use that grass anymore, he took steps, you know, to make sure he wouldn't run out of grass, as we all did, obviously, because we can't run out of grass. You know, the cows have to eat, so, oh, this is a tight turn. One of these days I'm going to learn not to do this. It's just so much quicker to go this way. But yeah, we need to petition the council and let them know that, you know, this, if they were using the grass for anything, if they were putting parks up, or if they were, you know, giving it to, you know, charitable foundations for whatever, that would be fine. You know, now I know the big meadow up on the side of the hill there, they are using, you know, for the donkey sanctuary, or at least a part of it was donated, or is, you know, being, I don't know how it actually works. I don't know if they've donated it or if they're just letting it, letting the donkey sanctuary use it. But the rest of it is just sitting there, you know, and it's not being maintained or anything. So why not let us use it? Let us cut it. Drive by the lag fields. Oh, Gene Borg, I love your textures, but the abacus does not love them. Okay. Let's see. I do still have a placeable pile over here, correct? Yeah. I was going to say, why would I get rid of it? Oh, you may notice this too. This is actually a demo, and I need to decide whether I'm going to keep this or not, and then write chat a check if I am. This is I think this is pronounced ELO. It's a front-mounted windrower Now, I use this to mow some grass and to rake up some grass, and it worked very, very well. It's nice to be able to go in, mow, put this on the front with the baler on the back, and I have tractors, obviously, that can run both of these things. This is run by hydraulics, so there's no front PTO attachment to it. And windrow and bale at the same time. It's very, very handy, and I like it. So probably writing a check. I think that's $6,800, I believe. So probably be writing Chad a check for that before long. Come on. That was just me not paying attention. Like not turning the wheel. Like why won't the trailer turn? Because you're not steering, BP. That's why. Get that dumped. Always nice to see a lot of muck building up. I don't think I'm going to have to start looking at, secondary storage sites just yet for muck. And if I did, I would just put them over there in the dairy meadow. Just because I'm not generating that much just yet. But I believe I will be probably before too much longer. So start piling it up over there, I guess. As long as I keep it away from the UHT milk and away from the calves, I'll be okay. Still got the beacons on? No, why aren't my beacons on? Drove all the way down here without the beacons on? Bad, BP, bad. You're going to get... I mean, I'm surprised I don't get tickets every day. And not because I'm trying to break the law, it's just because I'm scatterbrained. So what we'll do is this. I'll go down here and we'll do the pigs. And then I will... we're going to walk the cornfields real quick and see if they need anything. In the next episode, we'll probably be spraying the corn. And then probably be a couple days, a couple of... Oh, I don't know. Do I want to do this? This turn is so tight. And then, it'll probably be a couple days before you guys are back with me. And then hopefully the corn will be almost ready to chop by then. So, and that one field of alfalfa that I want to chop, probably field 1, I'm thinking. I mean, I could chop the home fields because it would be a lot easier. A lot easier to move around. The field 1 isn't bad by any means, though. But the home fields are just going to make so much silage. I'm going to run out of places to put it. So, and I don't want to have all the corn and then, be like, well, I don't have any place to put it now. So, the corn being the, number 1 thing that I wanted to chop. So, I suppose I could call up the BGA and get a bunker over there, but obviously they're only going to take corn silage. They don't really want, just general biomass. I don't think that BGA is set up for that. Jeez. This road is getting worse and worse and worse. And of course, because nobody's cutting these meadows, nobody's going to maintain this road. I'm not going to come down here and maintain this road when I can't cut this meadow. Yes, I use it a lot, to get into my dairy meadows, and I'm really surprised it hasn't been chained off yet. It's been nearly a year since they made their proclamation about the meadows, and they never came down and chained this road off. But, I certainly would be willing to put in some maintenance on this road, if they let me cut this meadow once in a while. So, farmers of Old Ridge, we need to sort of get together and see about, and see if the council would be, maybe willing to reconsider their decision about these meadows. Oh, you know what? What am I doing? I'll just take this over to the pigs. Silly. Probably had to fill in this hole at some point, too. Oh, I wanted to look at my retention tanks, too. See how the slurry's doing. Oh, yeah. They're getting about half full, quarter full, somewhere in there. Oh, boy. I may have to move that, which means I'm going to have to put up a storage tank somewhere. Better call my ag consultant and see what he can do for me for a storage tank. And once again, let's go out the narrowest gate possible. Kind of a trick to this is get as close to the building and then as close to this fence and then swing around. It's still going to end up in the hedge. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Nope. Very good. I think BP's learned how to drive. I wouldn't hold your breath on that, but maybe. Okay, now I am going to park this down here. I think I'll back this. Well, maybe I won't have to back it, actually. I could probably just leave it right there. Well, I'll back it up a little bit, just to put it a little more central. Right about there, I guess. Is that good? Yeah, that'll do. All right. And we'll just do the tabby around thing to get back to the telehandler, because that's always fun, and it doesn't take a half an hour to do. So that lawnmower right there, because that's what that is, that always hangs up on me, and I'm not really sure why. It wasn't doing it before. I must have a maybe a mod conflict with something in there. I don't know. I've had that quite a while, and I've never actually used it, so. Health and safety, VP. To bring down a couple of the dirt and fill in that hole. That hole's been here a long time, and I always say I'm going to do it, and then I forget to do it. It's just always really soft there. Beacon? Beacon, BP, before you get on the road, please. Beacon, thank you. I'm starting to wonder if my keyboard on my laptop is dying. Because I noticed the other day, I was playing something, and it required the use of, like, the N key or whatever, quite a bit. And it was like I'd have to press the N key 3 or 4 times, and I'm like, oh, no keyboard, don't die. Just because, not because so much that I need it, but because I don't really, the way this is set up with my steering wheel and everything, I don't really have a place to put a keyboard. An external keyboard, say. All right, that took no time at all. Maybe in the next episode we'll, I forgot I parked him right there. Maybe in the next episode we will sell all these animals as well. Might as well. Certainly wouldn't hurt. How's the slurry level doing over here? Not building up too fast, I don't think. Where's that little plug? No, it's not building up too fast. It's funny how I don't really know what parameters that, how that works. It seems like the beef cattle make more slurry than the pigs do. Kind of an odd angle to dump at, but as long as it's getting in there. Very good. Oh. I'm like, why can't I back up? Because I was using the wrong paddle. I used the paddle shifters on my steering wheel to change direction, but when the wheels turned all the way one way or the other, like, oh, that's the wrong paddle, you big dummy. I never do that when I'm racing, though. Even if my wheels turned all the way around and I need to shift, I always manage to get that right. Only in Farm Sim. Go figure. Well, 8.4 hours on a telehandler, because obviously it's been getting a lot more use lately, which is good. As I said, expensive piece of equipment. Might as well use it. Probably get about 35 tons of muck out of this, out of these sheds, so that's really good. Could certainly use it. I've got about 30 tons. In fact, I can find out. I've got it 31 tons over at the dairy farm at the moment, so. All the animals are in good shape. The sheep are good. The chickens are good, obviously. So, like I said, that wheat that I picked up, that I reserved for those chickens, that'll probably last them the rest of their lives. Only have 41 chickens. I mean, I could certainly buy more. But, I don't know. I think 41's enough. What's going to be the easiest way to do this? going to be the least BP way to do this, I suppose. Another long episode. Hope you guys are, comfy when you sit down to watch these episodes. I don't mean to make them all an hour long lately. It just seems like I'm trying to get so much stuff done now that, it just takes a certain amount of time to do, obviously, so. Lots and lots of muck. Not complaining about that one bit. Leave that trailer in the most inconvenient spot in the world between the slurry access and the building. Very smart, BP. How have you managed to stay in business this long? All right. Of course, I'm right in a clip in the building where I couldn't see. There'll probably be a little bit left in there, but that's okay. I just wanted to get the majority of it out, and especially with pig shit, right? Everybody knows how bad pig shit stinks. So luckily, there's no houses down here. Nobody's complaining about it, And again, these buildings have that sort of odor elimination system, or odor reducing system, I should say. Would it have made more sense to dump that in the back, BP? No, can't have that sense. Okay. Well, we'll just take that take that little bit that's left in the bucket. I just got to get Perry to follow me here. Get set up. Might as well bring this back to the dairy. We'll call this an episode. Put the bucket down. Go and jump out of that. It's cool. One thing about one thing about this is it would be neat if there was a way that you could sort of do this remotely, so it would actually look like somebody was. Now I could do it with Courseplay, obviously, but so when I say, well, I'm gonna have Perry follow me, then I don't have to jump out of my tractor and jump into his and go, set it up. That would be cool, but, okay, maybe that's a bit too much. Obviously, the people who created FarmSim weren't thinking that, there were going to be these epic role plays going on while people were playing, so. Very good. Jump into this, jump back in the cab, and off we go. Back to the dairy farm. I'll dump this, and we'll call this an episode, so. Again, I'm not trying to make these episodes an hour long. It's just that, as you guys know, farming takes time, right? Everything takes time in farming. You've got, it takes a while to muck out. It takes a while to sell grain. It takes a while to plow. It takes a while to cultivate. Everything you do takes a while. And if you didn't like it, then you probably wouldn't be here watching the videos in the first place, and you probably wouldn't be playing the game. And again, everybody plays the game differently. Maybe the way I play consumes more time than other people's, but it's the way I like to play. And as long as you guys still like watching it, I'm going to keep doing it, And, if the videos get a little longer once in a while, okay, I must have probably played 40 hours of FarmSim in the last, say, 4 days. Easily 10-hour days of FarmSim, like putting in an actual 10-hour day on a real farm, because Old Ridge, as I've said 1,000 times, is a real working place that requires that much effort to be put into it, and I love it. Court is not so much that, and I don't see it becoming that, obviously, but it's still a couple hours going down there to harvest and mow, especially the mowing. The mowing is going to take a very long time because there's a lot of grass that needs to be cut. I may be able to get a couple loads of bales, actually. I don't know how many bales this other farmer is going to want, but I'll talk to Mr. Dean about that and see if I can get at least one trailer load of bales off of it. But excuse about the snuff there, but but that's part of the reason why these videos are getting longer, because the workload doesn't go down, it just keeps increasing and increasing and increasing, and I got to be honest, I absolutely love it. Easy over the humpback bridge. These bridges are old. One thing you don't want to do too is catch that concrete and wood bit on the end, because that concrete is very old and very crumbly, and the the wood is old and I mean it's been very well preserved, but it's still old and a little bit and a little rotten. So I know I've accidentally sort of busted the uprights on that rail a couple of times. So by catching it, catching the edge of it with the edge of a tipper. So. All right, I will put this over here for the moment, so he's out of the way, and then I will jump in to Perry's tractor. You can stop right there, jump into Perry's tractor, and get him dumped. That will do. Thank you. Control F. Thank you. I'm going to need to be outside the cab for this. You can turn your beacons on, though. You turned them off because I turned them off in the telehandler. This milk container, though, right? How messy can you be, BP? Come on. Just move it already. And I need to go swap out the ones that are full over there, too. On the actual machines. Yeah, this is going to be just about an hour episode. Wow. Well, you know what? We're getting a lot done, though, so that's good. And it's like I said, this is actual real live work now. This farm requires this much work. So there you go, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. As always, let me know what you think. If you like the longer episodes, let me know. If you want to see me do more stuff off screen, fast forward more or whatever, you can tell me that. Whether I do it or not, I don't know. I kind of enjoy this because it's sort of more realistic, I think. Now, obviously, with me, you're always going to have the derpy stuff that goes on, the dumb stuff. It's just the way it is. But I do try to play this as realistically as possible. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. The next episode, what will we be doing? We were going to walk the fields, but you know what? It's almost an hour. I think I'll walk the fields in the beginning of the next episode. We'll get everything sprayed. Probably sell our animals, I would imagine. And we'll go from there. So as always, guys, thanks so much for all the tips, all the suggestions, all the work. I talk about my consultant, my ag consultant, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but I will definitely give you a shout out in the next video. I'll check on the names. I don't have a phone that I can look up YouTube, comments and stuff on. Everything happens on one screen for me. So, but you know who you are. I mean, just the massive amounts of research that go into giving me these tips. I can't tell you what that means to me. It's awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for just the simple stuff like, hey, BP, you're great, or hey, hi, BP, or, whatever. Jordan Tamblin, I know you've been looking for a shout out. There you go, man. I hope I pronounced your name right. There's your shout out, and welcome to Old Ridge. I'll work you into the story somehow. I think it's really cool you guys want to be involved, granted it's all, just names and stuff, but it's still fun. This has really become a community thing. Thanks to Mike, thanks to Sean, thanks to David Oldfield, thanks to JD Vlogger, thanks to Ian Blake, thanks to, Jordan Tamblin now, thanks to Chad, thanks to Nick Crisford, who's my seed rep. It's a community farm and it's awesome and I love it. And thanks to every single one of you for everything you do for the channel, for coming, liking, subscribing, watching videos, commenting, giving me your tips, giving me your suggestions. I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And as always, thank you for making me a part of your YouTube day. And this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.